Unsolved prison escapes that still confuse the FBI. Prisons are designed to hold the most dangerous people on Earth. Walls reinforced with steel. Towers guarded day and night. Cameras, locks, and fences built to make one thing clear. Escape is impossible. But history tells us a different story. Some prisoners didn't just dream of freedom, they reached for it and vanished. No bodies, no trails, no answers. The FBI has chased leads for decades, but some escapes remain unsolved mysteries that still confuse investigators to this day. Tonight, we dive deep into the most baffling prison escapes in American history. Vanishing acts of the 20th century. Frank Nash, the ghost of Leavenworth, 1933. Long before Alcatraz, Leavenworth Penitentiary in Kansas was considered unbreakable. Yet in the early 1930s, gangster Frank "Jelly" Nash pulled off an escape that remains clouded in mystery. Nash was transferred between prisons multiple times for robberies and murders, but in 1933, while working outside the main yard, he slipped away. Rumors claimed he bribed guards. Others said he simply walked out dressed in civilian clothes. The FBI placed him on its most wanted list, yet Nash vanished for years before being spotted again in a Kansas City shootout. How he disappeared in the first place, and how he evaded authorities so long, remains one of the FBI's earliest unsolved escape puzzles. The 1947 Pittsburgh tunnel escape. In April 1947, 12 inmates escaped the Allegheny County Jail in Pittsburgh through a hand-dug tunnel that led straight to the street outside. The tunnel was lined with wood scraps, light bulbs, and even had ventilation holes of feet that must have taken weeks, maybe months, to construct. Here's the baffling part. The tunnel was built directly beneath the guards' feet. Somehow, no one noticed the sounds of digging, the flow of dirt, or the tools disappearing from workshops. Some inmates were quickly recaptured, but several vanished forever. The FBI never confirmed how many actually made it into hiding. To this day, the unanswered question remains: who masterminded the tunnel, and how many truly escaped justice? Leonard Fristoe, escape without a trace, 1949. On November 8, 1949, convicted bank robber Leonard Fristoe escaped from a Nevada state prison in Carson City. Authorities at first believed it was a standard breakout, a guard distracted, a hole in the perimeter fence. But what confused the FBI was the total lack of evidence afterward. No clothing, no stolen car, no contacts traced. Fristoe simply vanished from the record. For decades afterward, tips surfaced that he was living quietly in Oregon under a new name. But without proof, the case has remained open. How did a man with no money, no support, and every lawman in America on his trail vanish so completely? The FBI still doesn't have an answer. These early escapes shook confidence in America's prison system. From tunnels to bribes to simply disappearing without a trace, each case baffled investigators. But the mysteries of the mid-20th century were only the beginning. The next chapter brings us to escapes so bold and so unexplained that they remain some of the greatest prison mysteries in modern history. Modern escapes that still haunt the FBI. The 1962 Alcatraz mystery, Morris and the Anglin brothers. Perhaps the most famous escape of all came from Alcatraz on June 11, 1962. Three men, Frank Morris, John Anglin, and Clarence Anglin, dug through concrete walls with spoons, crafted a raft from raincoats, and placed dummy heads in their beds to fool guards. By morning, they were gone. The FBI declared them drowned, but no bodies ever surfaced. Over the decades, alleged photographs and letters suggested they survived. One 2013 letter even claimed to be from John Anglin, saying he had lived in hiding for years. The Bureau has never confirmed the truth. This remains the single most debated prison escape in U.S. history, one the FBI still lists as unsolved. The 1979 Dannemora prison escape. In 1979, inmate David Sweat and fellow prisoner Richard Matt executed a bold escape from Clinton Correctional Facility in Dannemora, New York. With the help of smuggled tools and the cooperation of at least one prison employee, the pair cut through steel walls, navigated underground tunnels, and climbed out of a manhole outside the prison walls. Here's where the mystery deepens. While Matt was eventually killed and Sweat recaptured years later, the investigation revealed maps of alternate escape routes and evidence of other accomplices. The FBI has long suspected more prisoners may have planned to vanish alongside them, prisoners who may have actually succeeded. The unanswered question remains: were Matt and Sweat really acting alone, or was their escape part of something larger? Glen Stewart Godwin, The Vanishing Fugitive, 1987. One of the most baffling modern cases came in 1987 when inmate Glen Stewart Godwin, a convicted murderer, escaped Folsom State Prison in California. Using explosives smuggled into the prison, Godwin blasted his way out of a storm drain and disappeared. Months later, he resurfaced in Mexico, where he was arrested again for drug trafficking. But in 1987, he escaped a second time, this time from Mexican prison. Despite being placed on the FBI's 10 most wanted list, Godwin has never been seen again. 2 escapes, 2 countries, 1 fugitive, and no answers. How Godwin managed to vanish not once, but twice remains a mystery the FBI still can't solve. Joaquin El Chapo Guzmán, The Tunnel King, 2015. And then there's the most embarrassing prison escape of the modern era. In 2015, Mexican drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzmán escaped his maximum security cell through a mile-long tunnel dug directly beneath his shower. The tunnel was fitted with lighting, ventilation, and even a modified motorcycle. Though El Chapo was eventually recaptured, the FBI has never been able to explain how a tunnel of that size was dug without anyone noticing or how many people inside the prison helped him. The mystery here is not if he escaped, but how deep the corruption went to make it possible. The enduring mysteries. From the fog of Alcatraz to tunnels in Mexico, from men who disappeared into the night to fugitives who embarrassed entire governments, the FBI has been left with questions it still cannot answer. Did Morris and the Anglin brothers survive? Did Leonard Fristoe vanish into a quiet American town? How did Glen Stewart Godwin outwit 2 entire prison systems? These unsolved escapes remind us of a chilling truth. No prison is truly escape-proof. And sometimes, the men society locks away forever are the ones we may never stop looking for. This was Unsolved Prison Escapes that still confuse the FBI.